Everyone knows dogs have an incredible sense of smell. It's the fact repeated in every dog documentary, every training video, every casual conversation about why your dog seems to know things you don't. But smell is only one piece of an entire sensory system that works nothing like ours, built by evolution to prioritize completely different information than the human brain does, and shaped further by centuries of selective breeding that sharpen different senses in different directions depending on the job a breed was created for. Today, we're breaking down every sense a dog actually relies on, including a couple that most owners have genuinely never heard of, and how those senses shift dramatically depending on the breed sitting next to you right now. Welcome back to Decoding Dogs, the channel dedicated to understanding what's really going on inside your dog's mind and instincts. Let's get into it. Let's start with smell, since it genuinely deserves the reputation it has, even if it's not the whole story. A dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to roughly 6 million in a human nose, and their sense of smell is estimated to be somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than ours, depending on the breed. The part of a dog's brain devoted to processing scent is proportionally massive compared to the human brain's equivalent structure, which explains why dogs interpret the entire world through their nose first, in a way that's genuinely difficult for humans to imagine. Where a human walks into a room and sees a chair, a table, and a window, a dog walks into that same room and reads a detailed timeline. Who's been there recently, what they ate, whether they were anxious or calm, and roughly how long ago they left. Hearing comes in as the second major sense, and it's considerably more powerful than most owners realize. Dogs can detect frequencies ranging from roughly 67 to 45,000 hertz, compared to the human hearing range of about 64 to 23,000 hertz, meaning dogs can hear an entire category of high-pitched sounds that simply don't exist as far as human ears are concerned, including the ultrasonic squeaks small rodents make. Dogs also have around 18 separate muscles controlling each ear, allowing them to tilt, rotate, and independently swivel their ears toward a sound source with a level of precision no human could replicate, which is exactly why your dog's ears sometimes seem to move on their own toward a sound you haven't even noticed yet. Dogs can also register sounds at roughly 35,000 vibrations per second, compared to about 20,000 for humans, and they're capable of partially filtering out background noise to focus in on a specific sound source, functioning almost like a built-in volume dial most humans simply don't have access to. Vision is where dogs actually fall behind humans in raw capability, though not in the way most people assume. The old myth that dogs see only in black and white is false. Dogs do see color, just a narrower range than humans, generally limited to blues and yellows, since they lack the specific receptor needed to distinguish reds and greens the way we can. Where dogs genuinely excel is in low light and motion detection. Their eyes contain a reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum, which bounces available light back through the retina a second time, dramatically improving night vision compared to human eyes. Dogs also process visual information roughly 25% faster than people do, which helps explain why they're so effective at catching a thrown ball or frisbee out of midair, reacting to fast motion before a human's own visual system has fully registered what's happening. Taste is one of the more surprisingly underdeveloped senses on this list. Dogs have roughly 1,700 taste buds, compared to about 9,000 in humans, meaning their ability to distinguish subtle flavor differences is considerably weaker than ours. Interestingly, dogs also register basic taste categories differently than we do. Their sense of sweetness is comparatively weak, while their sensitivity to saltiness and bitterness runs stronger, likely an evolutionary safeguard that helped their wild ancestors avoid spoiled or toxic food sources. This helps explain why dogs seem far less picky about food variety than humans typically are, and why smell plays such an outsized role in whether a dog finds something appetizing in the first place. Touch, meanwhile, is one of the earliest senses a dog develops, and it remains genuinely important throughout their entire life. Newborn puppies are born both blind and deaf, relying entirely on touch and scent to find their mother and litter mates during their first weeks of life. As dogs mature, touch continues playing a major role in social bonding, and a specific structure plays an outsized part in it: the whiskers, technically called vibrissae. These aren't ordinary hairs. They're deeply embedded, densely packed with nerve endings, and extraordinarily sensitive to subtle changes in air current and vibration, allowing a dog to detect nearby objects in complete darkness or accurately judge whether a gap is wide enough to fit through, all without needing to rely on vision at all. Now here's where things get genuinely fascinating, because dogs also possess a sense most people have never heard of at all: a functioning vomeronasal organ, sometimes called Jacobson's organ, located near the roof of the mouth. This specialized structure exists specifically to detect pheromones, chemical signals other animals release that carry social and reproductive information invisible to a standard sense of smell. When you see a dog curl back their lips slightly and go still while investigating a scent, sometimes called the Fleischmann response, they're actively engaging this separate sensory organ, essentially running a second, more specialized smell analysis alongside their regular nose. And then there's the strangest, least understood sense on this entire list: magnetoreception, the possible ability to detect the Earth's own magnetic field. This sounds more like something out of a nature documentary about birds or sea turtles, but recent research has found genuine evidence suggesting dogs may share this ability. One well-documented study observed that dogs showed a consistent tendency to align their bodies along a north-south axis while defecating, under calm, stable magnetic field conditions, a preference that disappeared entirely during geomagnetic storms or unstable magnetic conditions. Researchers believe this alignment behavior may help dogs organize an internal mental map of their surroundings, and some scientists speculate this sense could play a role in the well-documented, sometimes remarkable ability certain dogs have shown to find their way home across genuinely long distances, though this remains a relatively new and still actively studied area of canine science. Here's a detail almost nobody talks about, though. These senses aren't distributed equally across every breed. Sighthounds, including greyhounds, Salukis, and Afghan hounds, were bred specifically to hunt using vision and speed rather than scent. And research shows these breeds have a higher concentration of retinal ganglion cells arranged in a horizontal visual streak across the eye, giving them heightened sensitivity to fast movement across their wide field of view, some reaching close to 270 degrees thanks to eyes positioned toward the sides of the skull. Scent hounds tell the opposite story. Breeds like bloodhounds and basset hounds, bred over centuries specifically for tracking, tend to have unusually long muzzles packed with an even higher density of olfactory receptors than the already impressive canine average, which is precisely why search and rescue and tracking work overwhelmingly relies on these particular breeds, rather than, say, a greyhound or a pug. Even within a single household, a recent study found that dogs individually vary in whether they default to relying on smell or sight first when solving a simple problem like locating hidden food, suggesting this isn't purely a breed trait, but partly an individual preference layered on top of it. So here's the full picture once you put every one of these senses together. Dogs don't just experience a duller or sharper version of the human sensory world. They experience an entirely different one, built around a completely different hierarchy of priorities, one that shifts even further depending on which breed you're looking at. Smell comes first for most dogs, delivering a detailed, layered picture of their environment long before their eyes or ears contribute anything. Hearing comes second, tuned to frequencies and directional precision far beyond human capability. Vision trails behind in color and detail but excels specifically at motion and low light, dramatically more so in breeds purpose-built for it. And underneath all of that sit at least two additional senses, the vomeronasal organ and potentially magnetoreception, that most owners never even realize their own dog is quietly using every single day. If this changed how you think about what your dog actually experiences on a walk, let us know in the comments which sense surprised you the most and what breed you have. And don't forget to subscribe to Decoding Dogs, because next time, we're breaking down why some dogs develop separation anxiety while others seem completely unbothered by being left alone.